What's happening, guys? Back again with another podcast on the Unfiltered Football YouTube channel. On this podcast, we're going to be discussing the COVID outbreak among some teams such as Tottenham, Manchester United, and Aston Villa. So, as you have heard the news about Tottenham, a lot of their games have now been postponed. They had a Europa Conference League game on Thursday, didn't happen. They had a they had a match on the weekend on Sunday, didn't happen. They've got a match, I think tomorrow or
Tomorrow.
Wednesday. It's not gonna happen. So that's due to eight players having COVID, and I think it's eight players, 8 or 7 players. Anyways, their match is not gonna happen. It's not gonna take place. So now news has emerged yesterday that Manchester United's match against Brentford on Wednesday may not happen due to a COVID outbreak. Some players, such as I think Matic and some staffing coach. So Manchester United put a request through to FA asking them, can they postpone the match just like Tottenham? Um, News also emerged about Aston Villa, a COVID outbreak after the Liverpool game. Some players and some coaching staff, just like Manchester United, have got COVID. So maybe their match as well won't get um, uh, won't get played. It'll get postponed. Now, in the last hour or so, there has been news about Arsenal, not players, just coaching staff um, that have got COVID, and now maybe we might not play against West Ham on Wednesday. So in today's podcast, what we're going to discuss is this whole COVID outbreak situation and the fact that we started off Arsenal. We started off the season with 5 players out, with 4 or 5 players out with COVID, and the other 4 were injured. And when we put a request through to FA, also the Premier League, if we can get it postponed or make it not go ahead, it got rejected. Now, how comes Tottenham's match got accepted? Their matches got postponed due to COVID. Ours didn't. And let's see. It will be interesting to know Manchester United if their request gets accepted or rejected. So, without talking any further, that was a very long intro, but I just wanted to give the viewers a breakdown of what's happened in case nobody has actually seen or heard what's happened. So, yeah, let's get straight into it, guys.
All right. I actually wanted to say the same thing too. When we play against Brentford, I know we had it was 6 players. 6 players had COVID. I was actually hoping our match get postponed, but it was not. Actually, the FA said there were some players. They actually asked Arsenal to drop list of players available, and they actually found out that some players can play. That's why I think that's when they started Lokonga and Tavares, because Tenny, Oba, Lacazette, some of those players that had COVID, so they
Gabriel.
couldn't play. Gabriel too. We had to use Ben White. We just used most of our new signings back to the pitch again. So that's when I have to tell you that most of these times, these FA officials don't regard us as a club, because this is a similar issue. Tottenham had like 3 matches postponed. Now I think plus this will make 3 matches postponed because of the COVID. Man, you are coming out now. Aston Villa are coming out now. Okay, now we have some of our coaching staff. I don't saw that this evening. Is now they want to listen to us, because this is something that we've tried for our first match, and I'm sure wish they help us and probably maybe postpone our match. We would have gotten humiliated by Brentford the first leg there. That was total humiliation. I nearly cried that night, but thank God. So I don't just know what the FA are doing today. I think these players should be put themselves in order, because they should not be getting exposed to outsider. Like Oba now, I'm sure if they need to do Uber test, because which they let him train on Thursday, there's a probability of him bringing COVID into the training camp. Before you know, players, the way they train in the camp, this one to touch this, before you know, the COVID spread around too. So the FA should be very strict with their healthcare issues, and probably every player should be tested like every single time, not just 2 to 3 days, because this COVID is something you don't plan for at all. might just sneeze and it has affected the next person close to you.
I personally, I have a feeling they are going to start shutting down matches. I think they're going to stop a lot of matches. They're going to postpone a lot.
Very soon.
I see that coming. It was, I mean, what do you call it? Tottenham, now United, Aston Villa. And with all the news coming up, the cases are going up. And, I have a feeling they will definitely. And so the question is, why suddenly out of nowhere? Were they not testing these players and coaches before? Or they just started testing them now? They find out, oh, they've got, the COVID. And with regarding Arsenal, the start of the season, I think you said it the other day or yesterday, Musa, it's all about money. The opening game, I remember you saying that, and I agree. It's the opening game. If they decide to, because if it's the new team came up for the first time versus an established Premier League team, so a lot of sponsors would have lost money. So they did not want that to happen. Okay, and we can say maybe yes, there is the Arsenal, the agenda against Arsenal, blah blah blah. But I don't think it's anything to do with that. It's all about money. But one thing I would like the FA to do is set because right now, as far as we know, as far as we can see, the COVID business, the people catching COVID, is going to be part of the package. It's going to be part of life. It's not going to go away. It's not going there. People are going to catch it as usual cold. Some people, as we know, people catch it, they don't show any symptoms. So what the FA need to do to say if a certain amount of your team, of your squad, not the first team. Remember, the first team, if we're talking about the first 11, I think they probably got 25 people who can play. The squad is about 25, 22.
Yes.
So that means if you go, even also, if we had 4 teams out, we managed to cover that up with another players. Tottenham shouldn't be any different. I'm sure they don't only have 8 players, man. Manchester United, the same thing. So now imagine if these players, there was no COVID, these players were injured, right? Would they have asked? What would they have asked for? Postponed to be postponed? 8 players. How many times we went through the season? We had a lot of players injured. We still played other players. You're paying money. You have it's 25 men squad. 25 men, right? 25 player. Am I correct? Or 22?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's there for a reason. Mean if these players can't play, these players come in. These players have injury, these players come in. These players have been sent off, these players come in. So if it's 8 players, I'm sure they have 8 players who can play in first team for Tottenham, Manchester United, Aston Villa, which when we had it, whether it was 1, 2, 3, 4 players, it should have been the same. I mean, even Arsenal, I don't think personally, okay, I did want it to be cancelled, but I don't think it should have been cancelled. I mean, it should be fair. So the FA need to say, if you have an X amount of players in the squad, not the first 11, because the first 11 can be changed every time. We've seen that, right? Where a team, with Chelsea or whatever, you put in a whole team, then you change 5 players from your, well, for example, when they play the League Cup, the FA Cup, they change your whole team. The whole first 11 goes, right? The whole first 11. So they need to say in the squad, if you have an X amount of players who are out, injured, or with COVID, for example, yes, you can, it can be postponed. I don't think they should have. I mean, I think it's a bit unfair to postpone the games. Also, with the fans waiting and everything, if it's close, as I said, I have a feeling they're gonna postpone all the matches. And that's it. What about you, Musa? What have we got to add?
So, what I was saying to Muzzy on the group chat, another group chat, Raymond, that you're not on, it's just London guys. What I was saying to Muzzy is that number one, it was a Friday, Arsenal v Brentford. two London clubs, one promoted, like Muzzy said, and one established. That match on a Friday and a derby, two London clubs, it's a big thing for the commercial sponsorship deals. So many people, so many companies, corporates, sponsorships will be losing money if that game didn't go ahead. So again, it's not about health, it's about money. So they had to push that game to go through because we were the only game because it was a Friday. The other games were on Saturday or Sunday. We were the first game. So it doesn't matter if you got players out with COVID. This game is going ahead. That's it. Because it has to. And we've got a lot of commercial deals and we don't want to lose any money. That's number one. Number two, I don't agree with that. Don't get me wrong, okay? But Arsenal only had 4 or 5 players out with COVID, okay? That's half a starting 11. Tottenham got 7. That's 70% of your starting 11. That's a lot of cases. And coaching staff as well. That's a lot. So I kind of understand why they postponed it, but I don't agree with it. And I find it very unfair. But then again, it hurts the pockets if they said no to us.
But then the
So they
question
had
I
to
have,
say,
Musa, sorry to cut you off. Are you don't agree because is it because it's Arsenal? With me, I don't.
no, I don't agree.
I don't agree. The fact with my point,
I find it unfair. I find it unfair.
Yeah, no, I don't find it unfair. Okay, I find it unfair. It was one rule for Arsenal, one rule for Tottenham.
Yeah.
But it should be.
Yeah. It's unfair.
Because if this was a league game, like the what's the League Cup game? The League Cup, the Cordoba, Carabao Cup. Yeah, I am sure Tottenham would have filled it. They would have played their B team.
Yeah,
right. With
but the thing is,
what is
they won't have to.
What is the point of letting a 25 player squad? Because
that's no point.
Once anybody is not fit for this, once this striker is not there, you replace with the other striker. Once this goalkeeper is not there, you replace with the other goalkeeper. So if you have 8 players that has COVID, there are another 8 players in the bench that can fit into that team. Again, why not use them instead of making it?
Go on, Musa.
Okay, I have an argument for that. Okay, again, I don't agree with it, but the argument is those 8 players you're talking about were in training with him, or they went to a restaurant with him. Therefore, they were in his presence, in his bubble, in his circle. Therefore, he and those other 8 players have to self-isolate as well. If a player is injured, that doesn't mean it's contagious. The other player is injured and the other player is injured. That don't mean that. It doesn't mean that.
It's the same thing for Arsenal, then, isn't it?
Like I said, can play. Huh?
The same thing for Arsenal should have been the same thing.
That's why I say I don't agree with it. But the thing is, there was no Omicron and there was no variant that time. Now there is the South African and Omicron. That's the excuse they're going to give. Like I said, bro, I don't agree with it, but I understand it only because I work in a hospital.
It's true. It's true.
So I think that's about it for today. You want to add anything, Raymond?
Yeah, well, I still feel like once you bring out the Tottenham bench list, there are still players that can fit and play that match. So I don't see any reason of postponing the match at all. There is no reason of postponing the match. There are some players that can substitute for other 8 players that are there.
Yeah. Here's my question now. They have 8 players with COVID, correct? And you said they were all in one bubble. Does that mean only them players isolate or the whole team isolate? Remember, they were all training together.
The whole team.
So that's what's happening now. The whole team isolated.
And the coaching staff. Who's going to coach them?
Now,
if they were allowed to play.
I think within the next 2 or 3 weeks, we might see the Premier League being shut down temporarily. Yeah. I'll see it. Anyway, once again, thank you to Raymond.
It's winter, yeah. People are going to get a cold.
I did say it's going to happen.
Automatically assume it's a COVID,
unless you get a jab.
yeah. Get boosted.
Thank you, guys. Anyway, once again, thank you so much to Raymond and
Yeah.
Visual Peak, aka or Musa Visual Peak. Thank you so much. And once again, please subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. You can see it there in the link, and share it amongst friends, forward it to everybody. You can find us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all under the name of Unfiltered Football. Apart from Instagram is Unfiltered Football 1. But Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, we got it as Unfiltered Football. So once again, please share it and forward it. Help us to grow. And also, if you want to be on the podcast, you want to join us, you want to join us, and with your opinions and everything, feel free to contact me or contact us or Musa, one of us. Thank you so much. Once again, see you soon. Thank you.